In the early hours of Monday, January 31st, 2000, after a Super Bowl after-party in Atlanta, Georgia, two young men lay dead from stab wounds to the hearts outside of a trendy Atlanta nightclub. The chief suspect had relatively high status in society at the time, but nothing like the iconic superstardom that he would achieve almost immediately after those deaths. The man in question is Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens of the National Football League, who went on to have one of the greatest careers in the history of the National Football League. A larger-than-life personality immortalized in the Football Hall of Fame with a current lucrative post-retirement life as a broadcaster. We see in the Ray Lewis saga the ages-old concept of the necessity of blood spilled, life surrendered for the express benefit of another, a concept espoused by the very first recorded human civilizations. The ancient Mesopotamian Atrahasis creation myth states that the creator gods slaughtered one of their own gods to elevate mankind to what he is today. Modern-day American economic and political leaders openly celebrate this concept at the annual cremation of care ritual, where the giving of blood to an entity who will bestow fortune in exchange is overtly imitated, but in everyday life, very likely covertly practiced. Multiple spiritual traditions are expressed in this narrative that is much larger than Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens. Kabbalah, Christianity, the Vedic tradition, fiction, history, mythology, pop culture, literally every other major American professional sport is connected to the Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens Atlanta murders drama. I examined the profound symbolism of the color purple, Ray Lewis's team color, a team whose persona is steeped in mysticism, named after the classic dark Edgar Allan Poe poem. The esoteric art of cartomancy is revealed as celebrated by Ray Lewis himself, who personally identifies with the 52 of the playing card deck, his famous jersey number that proves to be a virtual signature calling card almost on the killings of the two young men outside the Atlanta nightclub. And in light of the upcoming Super Bowl 57 in 2023 being headlined by the singer-superstar Rihanna as the featured halftime performer, one of Ray Lewis's entourage on that fateful night, who took the witness stand at his trial, was a woman named Rihanna. This is Rambo. These are the truth codes. The number 52 is immense on this particular thread of the universal matrix web. In my last presentation, I illustrated how deep on an occulted level that the event of a spider appearing on the coffin of Queen Elizabeth II was. Princess Charlotte was born May 2nd, a date written 5-2, the famous spider being named Charlotte of Charlotte's Web. The novel Charlotte's Web was first published in the year 52. Charlotte is a barn spider in the novel, whose scientific classification is Araneus cavaticus. Barn spider equals 52. Araneus cavaticus sums to 52. Charlotte's Web equals 52. The book was published in 52. Again, 52 is like the date May 2nd, the birthday of Princess Charlotte. If you're not familiar with the alphanumerical code of gematria, I will explain it later in the decode. It is extremely easy to understand. The number 52 has enormous significance to the Baltimore Ravens franchise, besides being the number of its greatest ever player, Ray Lewis. The Baltimore Ravens are named after the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, who resided and died in Baltimore, Maryland. The famous signature phrase of the poem, The Raven, repeated by the Raven bird, is nevermore. Nevermore has gematria value of 52. So what a perfect number 52 is for the all-time greatest player of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis. There is a concept that only those in the so-called truth community, for lack of a better term, seem to acknowledge, despite the fact that it's been in effect since the dawn of civilization, which is the necessity of sacrifice, human sacrifice, for the benefit and success of another or others. That sacrifice is paid to a powerful entity that can bestow rewards and gains in exchange. It is at the heart of the earliest recorded creation myths, and is the core tenet of Christianity, where the physical suffering and sacrifice of God Himself in the flesh is absolutely necessary, as literally the only way that mankind can benefit in the afterlife, essentially to be let into heaven. It seems that the truth community, so-called, are one of the fewest that acknowledge that a current modern-day political and economic elite still practice this principle. In fact, this principle goes to the very heart of the material existence. Life, whether plant life or animal life, has to be surrendered in order to maintain the physical lives of others. The raven is actually a sacrifice symbol. I've spoken at length about the Hanged Man of the tarot deck. The Hanged Man is a sacrifice symbol. It could be positive self-sacrifice for personal gain or for the benefit of others, or the involuntary victimization of another for some purpose. The positive Hanged Man is the Norse god Odin, who self-sacrificed by hanging upside down on the tree of Yggdrasil to gain knowledge of the secrets of the runes. The symbolic animal of Odin, the Hanged Man, is the raven. So the raven is a symbol of Odin, the Hanged Man, and he's a symbol of the concept of sacrifice. The Baltimore Ravens are named after the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, who lived and died in Baltimore, Maryland. The famous signature phrase of the poem is "Nevermore," which has a gematria of 52, the jersey number of the all-time greatest Raven, Ray Lewis. On January 31st of the year 2000, in the wake of a melee between Ray Lewis's entourage and another group outside of the Cobalt Lounge in the Buckhead neighborhood in northern Atlanta, following a Super Bowl after party, Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens were not involved in that Super Bowl. This is 2000. Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler ended up dead, both stabbed in their hearts. They were both members of the group that was in conflict with Ray Lewis's entourage. The murders of Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler occurred on a date with 52 numerology, January 31st, 2000. 1 plus 31 plus 20 plus 00 sums to 52. The murders happened at a Super Bowl party on the night of Super Bowl 34. Ray Lewis and the Ravens would win Super Bowl 35 the very next year. From the January 31st, 2000 sacrifice murders of Richard Lawler and Jacinth Baker to the next Super Bowl on January 28th, 2001 is a span of 52 weeks. Richard Lawler was stabbed 5 times, twice in the heart. 5-2. Heart has gematria of 52 and its reflection 25. The ordinal or simple cipher of English gematria attributes a numerical value to each letter of the alphabet based on the letter's order in the alphabet. A has a value of 1 based on its being the first letter, through to Z or Z having a value of 26 based on the fact that it is the 26th letter. The letters that make up heart: H, which is 8 plus E 5 plus A 1 plus R 18 plus T 20 sums to 52. So heart has a value of 52 in the simple or ordinal cipher of English gematria. The Pythagorean or English reduction cipher is the same as simple or ordinal. A through I, 1 through 9, I being the ninth letter, but turns double-digit values into single-digit values by adding the digits of the double-digit number and deriving a single-digit sum. So the digits of 10, for example, 1 and 0, are added, 1 plus 0, to get 1. And J is the 10th letter, so J has a value of 1. You do this through to Z or Z, the 26th letter. 2 plus 6 equals 8. So Z equals 8. In Pythagorean or English reduction gematria, the letters that make up heart sum to 25. So heart equals 25 in Pythagorean gematria. Ray Lewis saw no jail time, but did receive a $250,000 fine from the National Football League. In numerology, 0 has no value, so 250,000 is the equivalent of 25. The Baltimore Ravens were established in 1996 after owner Art Modell relocated what was the Cleveland Browns franchise to Baltimore, Maryland. Art Modell was born in the year 25. The decision to remove the Browns from Cleveland was described as mass heartbreak. In the early 1980s, the Cleveland Browns were nicknamed the Cardiac Kids. The Baltimore Ravens have had more NFL success in a short period of time. It was only 5 years after moving to Baltimore that they won the Super Bowl than the Cleveland Browns have had in their entire NFL history, with no Super Bowls ever won. The mass anxiety and heartbreak of Cleveland could well be a part of the suffering in exchange for the success of the Baltimore Ravens. A very key element to this ritual is the fact that Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler, the two victims killed in the fracas with Ray Lewis's group, were from Ohio. They were from Akron, Ohio, specifically, about 30 miles from Cleveland. In gematria, Akron, Ohio, has a value of 52. So Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler represent Ohio, again paying the price for the Baltimore Ravens' success. The Football Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio, an institution that Ray Lewis entered into on August 4th, 2018. Canton is even closer to the murder victim's hometown of Akron, Ohio, than Cleveland is. So how ironic that Ohio has to accept Lewis and the Ravens. In this Sports Illustrated cover addressing the move of the Cleveland Browns to Baltimore, it is interesting that the Cleveland Browns fan representative is wearing jersey number 52. 52 is Ray Lewis's number and the gematria value of heart. What are the odds that the Sports Illustrated just randomly chose the number 52 for the Cleveland fan caricature? 52 is 5-2, the date May 2nd that the King James Bible was first published in the year 1611. King James is a nickname for basketball great LeBron James, who is from Akron, Ohio, the same hometown of Richard Lawler and Jacinth Baker. And King James LeBron also broke Cleveland's hearts, just as Art Modell did, and was even compared to Art Modell by some of the media. So Akron, Ohio, and 5-2, as in May 2nd, May 2nd being the publication date of the King James Bible, connects to Ray Lewis. King James is the nickname of LeBron James, who's from Akron, Ohio, the same hometown as Richard Lawler and Jacinth Baker. Richard Lawler's funeral was held on the 5th of February, a date written 5-2, or February 5th, 25. 52, Ray Lewis's jersey number 52, the gematria of heart. Lawler was stabbed 5 times, twice in the heart, 5-2. Heart also has gematria of 25 in gematria like February 5th. Also, his name Lawler has gematria of 25. Ravens, for whom he may have been sacrificed to higher powers, has gematria of 25, like the date February 5th, the date of his funeral. Remember that Ray Lewis was charged with a $250,000 fine. That's the same as 25 in numerology by the NFL for his misdemeanor obstruction of justice, which is the charge that Ray Lewis got, related to the death of Lawler and Baker. Ray Lewis consciously identifies with the playing card deck as it relates to his number 52.
Today, I wanted to just really hit on something, dealing with pain. I asked my mom one day, I said, Mom, would you buy me a deck of cards? She says, Junior, I don't gamble in my house. Ain't no cards coming in my house. I said, Mom, I don't need them for gambling. I don't want them for gambling. I just need a deck of cards, Mom.
Ray Lewis has a workout called the 52 Card Challenge. This is from the Baltimore Times. This was published in 2020, so this is still an ongoing thing, as you can see on his YouTube channel. Quote, Lewis was known for his intensity and legendary work ethic. He's bringing that same intensity to a new program called the 52 Card Challenge. Lewis developed a workout using a deck of cards when he was a child. He wanted to get strong so he could protect his mother from being abused by his stepfather. Ironically, Lewis wore number 52. There are 52 cards in a deck. Lewis would shuffle a deck of cards, then pick one and do push-ups according to the card he drew. Any face card was worth 10 push-ups. An ace was 25 push-ups. And a joker was 50. The new workout has different parameters. Jokers call for 52 push-ups, while the aces call for squats, lunges, jumping jacks, or sit-ups, depending upon the card. Unquote. That's from the Baltimore Times. So they quote, ironically, Lewis wore number 52. That's their quote. There's really nothing ironic about that. I think coincidentally, Lewis wore 52 is probably what they meant. I would write, coincidentally, Lewis wore number 52. There are 52 cards in a deck. 2 men were killed to launch him into the national spotlight on a date with 52 numerology, exactly 52 weeks before Lewis's first Super Bowl win. Both men died as a result of being stabbed in the heart, and heart has gematria of 52, and the 2 victims were from Akron, Ohio, which has gematria of 52. In Western astrology, there is one playing card for each day of the year. Since there are more days in the year than cards, 365 or 366, as opposed to 52 cards, inevitably, some cards represent multiple days. This is from cafeastrology.com. Today's playing cards are so commonplace that it may seem to be a stretch that they have meaning beyond their role in game playing. However, playing cards are based on an ancient system similar to the tarot. Each birthday of the year is associated with a main playing card, the birth card, and each tells its own story. In Ray Lewis's video on his YouTube channel for the 52 cards workout, he draws 11 cards and early on draws a 5 and a 2. 5-2, coincidentally.
Let's go with the 5 of spades. Let's go with the 2 of spades. 5-2, you know how it works.
Ray Lewis was born on May 15th. His birth card, the birth card for May 15th, is the 4 of diamonds. In the video, he draws his birthday card. What are the odds that he would randomly just draw the playing card for his birthday, May 15th? It was presented as total happenstance with no acknowledgement of cartomancy. This is called cartomancy, the mystical side of the playing cards. But he draws 11 cards in total in this video. It's the only video on his website where he's drawing cards. Another significant date for Ray Lewis is January 28th, which is the date of his first Super Bowl win, which came 52 weeks after the sacrifices of Jacinth Baker and Richard Lawler, January 28th. The playing card that corresponds with January 28th is the Queen of Clubs. Ray Lewis drew the Queen of Clubs in his 52-card workout video. January 28th is also the birthday of the purple-clad Minnesota Vikings. The Baltimore Ravens wear the color purple. The book, The Color Purple, which was adapted to a movie and a Broadway play, was written by Alice Walker, whose birthday is February 9th, which happens to be the birthday of the Baltimore Ravens, who wear purple. February 9th is written 29, like the number 29. In gematria, purple has a value of 29. That is in the reverse Pythagorean or reverse reduction. The only female in the Lawler-Baker murder saga is Rihanna Grant, who was part of Ray Lewis's entourage. She shares the name Rihanna with the famous singer who will be headlining the next 2023 Super Bowl halftime show. But Grant's name is spelled R-E-H-A-N-A, which sums to 29 in gematria. 29, like February 9th, the founding date of the Baltimore Ravens, and the birthday of the author of The Color Purple. The Ravens wear the color purple. The gematria value of purple is 29, big 29. Of course, Rihanna Grant wore on the witness stand the color purple. First name of one of the sacrifice victims, Jacinth Baker, is interesting. Jacinth, a very unusual name. Jacinth is a precious gemstone. It is mentioned in the Old Testament of the Holy Bible on the breastplate of a high priest. In Revelation 21:20, one of the foundation stones of the New Jerusalem. The New Jerusalem is the Jerusalem which happens after the Messiah returns. So it's a future Jerusalem. The term they use in Revelation is hyacinth. It's another version of jacinth. It's hyacinth. It's spelled differently. In Revelation 9:17, the word appears in adjective form, hyacinthine. This, again, is thought to be descriptive of a blue or purple color. So the name of the victim, Jacinth, is a reference to the color purple, which is the Ravens' jersey color. His killing occurred outside the Cobalt Lounge in northern Atlanta. Look at the color motif of the Cobalt Lounge. Purple, fitting the ritual theme. Even the car parked outside and the man at the entrance just happened to be in the appropriate colors. I mean, he well could be an employee of the lounge. That lounge has since closed. It was part of the ritual, but by coincidence, it was purple. The victim's name, Jacinth, refers to purple. It's the color of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, founded on February 9th, a date written 29. The gematria of purple is 29. The book and movie The Color Purple, written by Alice Walker, who was born 29 as well, the same foundation date as the Baltimore Ravens. What are the odds that all of this is just coincidence? The Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl 35 win set off a cascade of purple wins in major American professional sports leagues in the year 2001. Now, the four major professional sports leagues in the United States, in order of their championships in a calendar year, is the NFL, the National Football League, the NHL, the National Hockey League, the NBA, the National Basketball Association, and then MLB, the Major League Baseball. Those are the four major professional sports in order of their championships in a calendar year. In 2001, all four wore shades of purple. 2001 was a purple grand slam, starting with the Baltimore Ravens in their win in Super Bowl 35. Just to emphasize the significance of the color purple here, the Baltimore Ravens won that Super Bowl on the date January 28th. 2001, which was the 41st birthday of the purple-clad Minnesota Vikings of the NFL. The Ravens beat the New York Giants in the Super Bowl win. That's a total of 41 points on the purple Minnesota Vikings' 41st birthday. The gematria of Baltimore is 41. Remember, the famous celebrity from Minnesota is Prince. Well, Prince performed at Super Bowl 41 at that halftime show. And that Super Bowl was won by the Indianapolis Colts, who are originally from Baltimore. The 2001 National Hockey League Stanley Cup champions were the Colorado Avalanche, who also wear purple. Strictly, the color that the Avalanche wear is debatable. It could be said to be the color claret, which technically is a dark shade of red. It's like a reddish purple. Most people who look at the uniform of the Colorado Avalanche would assume that they are looking at a shade of purple. The 2001 NBA, National Basketball Association champions were the Los Angeles Lakers, who wear purple. The 2001 Major League Baseball champions of the World Series, were the Arizona Diamondbacks, whose colors are purple. A purple grand slam in 2001. The co-MVP of the Baseball World Series was Curt Schilling. His name, Curt Schilling, has a gematria value of 155. Like the date, 15th May, Ray Lewis's birthday. Curt Schilling's birthday is November 14th, which is the birthday of King Charles III. So there's a royalty theme that goes along with the color purple. Think of Prince, how he was associated with purple. The NHL Stanley Cup final MVP was Patrick Roy. His last name, Roy, is French for king. This is an alternate spelling. It's R-O-I, his spelled R-O-Y, but Roy in French means king. He was the MVP for the Colorado Avalanche. His full name, Patrick Jacques Roy, equals 212, which is like the date February 12th, the date of the next Super Bowl in 2023. And at the time of the next Super Bowl in 2023, the reigning National Hockey League champions will be the Colorado Avalanche because they won the Stanley Cup final, the NHL championship. The next Super Bowl will be headlined by singer-actress superstar Rihanna, who will perform the halftime show. The only female in the Lawler-Baker murder trial is a member of the Ray Lewis entourage who had to testify at the trial. Her name is Rihanna. 3 months after giving birth, Rihanna, the superstar singer, displayed a t-shirt in public with the date October 7th on it, written 107. It is also the death date of Edgar Allan Poe, after whose poem the Baltimore Ravens are named. 107 is the gematria of Rihanna Grant. The singer Rihanna's t-shirt references the birth of a prince. The famous singer Prince, who was himself a performer at a Super Bowl halftime show, identified with the color purple. Rihanna Grant, part of Ray Lewis's entourage who testified at his trial, consciously wore purple on the witness stand, the key relevant ritual color. In the current, Ray Lewis has retired, but in the current Baltimore Ravens team, there's a linebacker, the same position as Ray Lewis, whose name is Queen. The purple-clad Ravens have a player named Queen. Now, Queen attended Louisiana State University in college. That was his college team. Louisiana State wears purple. So again, royalty and purple. That theme continues. Christians refer to Jesus Christ as a king. He's also been associated with the color purple. The book of John, chapter 19, verses 2 through 3. King James Version. And the soldiers platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on him a purple robe, and said, Hail, King of the Jews. And they smote him with their hands. On the Kabbalah tree of life, the highest sephirah, the crown, is directly accessed by the 11th pathway, which is represented by the tarot card, the Fool, who is the Joker in the playing card deck. The crown is associated with the shade of purple in the chakra system. The Joker of DC Comics fame is associated with the color purple. In Ray Lewis's 52 card challenge, the Joker is worth 52 push-ups. So he associates 52 specifically with the Joker. Ray Lewis wore a purple uniform. Well, the Joker wears a purple costume. The 52 card playing deck is also part of the Joker's persona, or it's part of Ray Lewis's persona as well. In the canon history of the Joker character by DC Comics, he was originally a villain named Red Hood, and Red Hood fell into a vat of chemicals that disfigured his face, after which he adopted the Joker persona. The playing card company whose chemical vat that Red Hood fell into and became disfigured, became the Joker, and he was called the Monarch Playing Card Company. Again, Monarch, royalty, and he wore purple. The Baltimore Ravens are named after the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. In the poem The Raven, the main character broods in a room with purple curtains. So the purple color that the Ravens wear is also based on the poem The Raven. Not many people know that their uniform color also comes from the poem The Raven, which describes purple curtains. The core occulted essence of the royalty purple association is seen in the chakra system in Vedic terms, which is also expressed by the metaphor of the Kabbalah tree of life, Paut Neteru of ancient Kemet/Egypt, and the allegorical Temple of Solomon. Temple as in the forehead, the temple of one's head. The crown chakra and the third eye chakra below that are attributed to shades of purple. The Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra, is indigo. The Sahasrara chakra, the crown chakra, is violet. Hence the crown, monarchy, and purple. Ray Lewis and the Ravens won Super Bowl 47 as well. He won 2 Super Bowls. The second Super Bowl was Super Bowl 47. Akron, Ohio spelled out. This time when you spell out Ohio, it comes to 47, like Super Bowl 47. Ray Lewis won his first Super Bowl, which is Super Bowl 35, at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. His first name is Raymond Anthony Lewis Jr. So the stadium had his first name. James is suggestive of royalty along the lines of this theme. King James, which is the nickname of LeBron James of basketball greatness, who is not only from the same hometown as Lawler and Baker, Akron, Ohio, but also performed his own breaking of Cleveland Hearts ritual when he left the Cleveland Cavaliers to join the Miami Heat. And he was describing the exact same terms as Art Modell was when he moved the Cleveland Browns franchise to Baltimore and changed it to the Ravens. Raymond James, a very ritually significant name. The real King James is best known for one thing above all else, that is the King James Bible, which was first published in the year 1611 on the date May 2nd. The date written 5-2, like 52. Twin symbolism is one of the most powerful and esoteric symbols across multiple traditions, and it's the most ubiquitous occult symbols, and it's seen here in the Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens narrative. So what occurred was a double murder or a double homicide. In Gematria, double homicide sums to 125, like the date December 5th, which is Richard Lawler's birthday. Other double deaths associated with the Baltimore Ravens are those of team legend and former teammate of Ray Lewis, Tony Siragusa, which occurred on June 22nd, 2022, which is the very next day after current Ravens linebacker Jalen Ferguson died on June 21st, 2022. Jalen Ferguson, born December 14th, is a Sagittarius. Tony Siragusa, born May 14th, Taurus. Richard Lawler, born December 5th, was Sagittarius. Jacinth Baker, born May 5th, was a Taurus. So this is twinning symbolism. A Sagittarius and a Taurus, Sagittarius and a Taurus. The playing card, Ray Lewis identifies with the 52 card playing deck. For the death date of Richard Lawler and Jacinth Baker, January 31st, is the 9 of clubs. The 9 of clubs is also the card for Jalen Ferguson's death date of June 21st. So that's another common thread between those two double deaths. That's twin symbolism. The most prominent esoteric twin symbol is seen in Solomon's Temple, whose signature architectural feature is the twin pillars. Whether it's taken as a historical, physical object or a symbolic metaphor or allegory, Solomon's Temple signature is the twin pillars, the pillars of Solomon. Jacinth, the name of the victim and the name of the precious stone, is also said to be a foundation stone for the New Jerusalem, where the third temple will be built in its full glory. So the death of Jacinth was symbolic of the prevention of the coming of the Messiah and the establishment of a New Jerusalem. It was Babylon and Rome who are said to have destroyed Jerusalem, so the energy behind this ritual is distinctly Babylonian. The twin pillars have broader esoteric meaning. They are also a signature feature of the, some say mythical, some say historical, city of Atlantis, the Pillars of Atlantis. The Atlantic Ocean is named after Atlantis. What else is named after Atlantis besides the Atlantic Ocean? Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, the city in which the twin killings of Jacinth Baker, who's named after a foundation stone for the New Jerusalem and the Third Temple, which features what? Twin pillars. The two members of Ray Lewis's own entourage against whom he testified were eventually ruled to have acted in self-defense and thus were acquitted. Nobody was ever prosecuted for the deaths of Richard Lawler and Jacinth Baker. The two defendants were Reginald Oakley and Joseph Sweeting. Although he did testify against them, Ray Lewis testified that he never saw Sweeting or Oakley actually stab anyone. Lewis also said Sweeting, Oakley, and another friend, Kwame King, bought knives at a sporting goods store one day before the Super Bowl. Sweeting's attorney, John Bergendahl, told the jury that the real killer was King, whom Bergendahl called the Man in Black. He said King, who has never appeared in court, had a large knife and matched the descriptions several witnesses gave. On occult spiritual levels, the sacrifices were most likely for Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens, but Lewis did not do the actual killings. With all the mystical symbolism that we've unearthed examining the Ray Lewis narrative, we end with the very probable identity of the actual killer, a person named King. The king, the crown chakra, is violet, a shade of purple, the color motif of the location of kings, the likely killings. One victim, Jacinth, is a name that alludes to the color purple. Ray Lewis constantly quotes scripture and has made the Bible even more significant aspect of his persona than the playing cards. As someone so deeply embedded in the esoterica and mysticism of the National Football League, he would be the most appropriate to deliver the wisdom contained in this Bible passage. Revelations chapter 3, verse 11, King James Version. This quote is Jesus talking. "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." Thy crown, not my crown. Everyone has a crown. In Gematria, crown chakra equals 52.
Five, two, you know how it works.